Alrighty then, this is an interesting video, at least from my point of view. Sum it up, we went to a restaurant yesterday. So some friends visiting, coming to town, although they live one town over. But we were gonna have food here or go out or have delivery, even though they got all those fees for delivery, which is part of it, and I don't do it very often, pretty much for that reason. So we walked downtown and had ideas about where to go, but this is kind of like my neighborhood, so I was kind of like, well, what do you suggest? Like, well, let's keep walking, and kind of found a place that I've been to before. I think I got it as takeout before, but it was a nice little Indian food place and very nice staff. And to be clear, this isn't about the price, it's more of the principle, and it's more of an observation than a complaint. So not really complaining about the place. It's just I see restaurants closing, and it's too bad. Part of it was like, yeah, the pandemic, but it's been a while now. And I think the other part is self-inflicted. I think people are just getting tired of, in some ways, being taken advantage of or over-tipped or expecting too high of tips and adding extra charges, or just don't like that. And we kind of miss the old days. Have the price, charge that price, we get and allow us to tip, and then a tax, and then sometimes you think, well, wait a second, are we tipping on the tax too? Why are we tipping for tax? That's something people don't often think about. It's like, I kind of want to tip on the percentage of what I cost, not the government's price as well. So I think it's fair to take out the tax if you want to, consider your percentages. But percentages have changed. It was 10%, and then 15, then 20, and now we don't even know. That's another difficult thing. There's a lot of anxiety for dining out, which I think makes people want to dine out less often. And yeah, I see places closing, and I just think, how much of that is self-inflicted? I don't know. The industry, I think, has got self-inflicted wounds, but this is just, again, my observations. So the place I went, to be clear, it's a nice place, very friendly staff, and they didn't do anything really excessive. Although there's a few things that really were sort of kind of eyebrow raising. We have 2 soft drink refills, I noticed, $4. Okay, but a lot of places, you buy the soft drink, they make so much money on their other drinks that the soft drinks, you just get a refill for free. So they kind of even, it doesn't like Burger King, McDonald's even do that. So it's kind of like, yeah, that is just easy money for them. Because they pay pennies, maybe 10 cents, and they can sell a $2. Well, the drink was actually $4. So they made a lot of money, and they made money in the refills. But again, you gotta make your money somewhere. It's just, is that gonna be at the expense of people getting like, what? You can't throw that in? Okay. Tensing Momo, I think that was an appetizer, and that's actually a fair price for an appetizer, better than I've seen a lot of places. I didn't try it, but it looked like the others enjoyed it. A Heineken, that was mine, $6, and that's a totally fair price for a restaurant drink. In fact, it's a little lower than I probably would have expected. Yeah, so that's fine. I think, okay, cool. Better than a Ballpark. My gosh, Ballpark, so don't get me started. A spicy chicken vindaloo, $17. Yeah, I mean, and entrees have gone up. I guess these days, 17 is actually low for an entree, maybe. I still have a memory of when they were like $12, so it's like, oh, okay, or even under 10. So it's hard to get past your memory, I think. Yeah, you live a while, and you're used to the prices that you grew up with. We got NA sparkling, non-alcoholic sparkling city, with fair price. Chicken tikka masala, 19. Okay, that's fine. Although, I don't want the portions to be larger, really, because I don't really do a lot of take home anymore. I mean, like leftovers now, I kind of like, once I have the dining experience, I really need to go back to more of a regimen of my eating that suits my lifestyle. So I don't really need the leftovers, so actually more would have been wasteful, but I also look at it, it's like you're paying a lot of money for a very little amount of food, and that kind of like, I don't know. But there are places that you just get like, a boatload of food, way too much, and the quality may go down when they have something like that. So I'm still okay with it. And also, I don't go out to eat very often too. So, I mean, not even treat. This was my treat. So I looked at it a little more closely because I'm just curious. It wasn't, again, about the price. It's just like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to pull here? If anything. What else do we have? We have the garlic naan, and it actually was a huge piece. So that was a pretty good deal. Everyone could kind of rip off a little. I mean, a little doughy inside, but still pretty good. So yeah, no problem with that price. I'm glad I didn't get more than one. And the Diet Coke, again, $4. Like, okay, it's like fair enough. But we get to the service charge, and that was where we're like, wait, what is the service charge? Like, what are you trying to do? Because it's not listed as a forced tip. I didn't know, but my friends pointed out that, like, oh no, it's over on the side. It lists like, okay, we throw in this tip. Now, I empathize more with people that need glasses, because for me it's like, if I don't bring them, I can, everything looks fine except for something like this. And I can kind of get an idea, but I have my little card on my wall. This is a credit card size like magnifying glass, and it's better just to not forget your glasses. But when you do, and you have something like this, it's like cool, because even the menu was tough to read, and this was tough, so I didn't get to see the side. But friends pointed out, okay, they list it right there on the side. It's a automatically included 15% tip. Like, okay, I mean, and that's fair, because I would have easily paid 15%. It was worth 15%. But I don't like the choice being taken away. What if it were just awful? I mean, yeah, I could leave a bad review on Yelp and never go back, but I'd also get kind of forced to pay for something that I didn't like, which I guess in a way we have that in the, you have to still pay the bill whether you enjoy the food or not, or unless you make a big complaint. But kind of just struck me. It's like, okay, so this is how it is. 15 is fair. Interestingly, if they hadn't had the 15, if they let me tip, it probably would have been 20%. So, although I don't usually try to take out the tax first just because it's a lot of work, so I don't go through that. To me, it's not worth the money savings to go through the extra trouble. But I kind of looked at it and I thought, well, okay, it would be very easy for someone to look at this and say, all right, we got the you don't even get the subtitle before the service charge. You just get subtitle with the service charge, and then the tax, and then you've got this total of 88. And I think some people would look at it and say, well, okay, I see the service charge, or maybe they missed that and they're gonna tip 20% of that, in which case that's a really good tip for the restaurant. But that's kind of ignorant. And I mean, one should look at bills more closely than that, but many probably don't. In fact, now that I think about it, many probably just look at, okay, 88 bucks, 10%, $8, probably toss in 16. Let's just, and that'd even be more than 100 at that point. So that would have been, yeah, that would have been like a huge, like a 40% tip. And it's just like, so I don't know, I don't really like this very much. But again, you can look at things closely. I understand that. It's just, okay. But if I were looking at this, I would say, all right, what should I tip? I don't even know the total before the service charge. Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's difficult. You have to do extra math, like 88, okay, 80 minus 10, 70. Let's just, 70 about, and then I can say, okay, what's the tax on 70? 10% 7, 20% 14, but they already added that 15. It just gets really complicated at this point. It's like, in the end, I thought, you know what? You forced 15, you're gonna get the 15, because the receipt you sign says any additional tip, which is cool. At least they called it an additional tip. I like that. But I said, nah, 15. If you forced 15, you can get 15. 15 is gonna be the final price. That's my final offer. But I mean, at the end of the day, it makes me not want to eat out very often. I already don't anyway, but when given choices, like where do you want to eat, I don't know. It's like, if anything, I might go to this place more, because at least I know what's expected and I know the deal there. But other places, I don't know. What are they going to add in? A service charge or extra little fees? I'm going to have to look at things. It's just kind of a hassle. Or I could just ignore it all and, would have paid a lot of extra money. If I didn't look at this, I could have easily paid $105 for a $70 meal. And it wouldn't have been the end of the day. I wouldn't notice it. I'm not going to notice it at the end of the month. It's just, again, principle. I don't like being taken advantage of. That anxiety, I think, reduce stress. Stress can be caused by anxiety about things you just don't understand, or issues where you get into situations where you might be uncomfortable or unsure, or just questioning. So I try to remove that from my life as much as possible. One reason I don't take taxi cabs very often is just like, I need to know the final price. I like Uber and I like Lyft because there's a contract, an agreement before I even step in that I know, or before even like the car is there, I meet the person, I know what the cost is going to be. And then the tip, even then, there's no sort of anxiety about this moment where you give and it might not be enough. It's like, no, you tip later. That's perfect. The whole system works for me very well. So I love the fact that I don't have to deal with cabs. Although once in a while, if I know the price or the cab comes through the Uber system, fine. Anyway, yeah, just my 2 cents or 10% on the industry, and it'd be interesting to see what happens. I hope they can actually do some overhaul or figure out ways to kind of get us through this just really, I don't know, awkward time. Yeah, and I'll still go out to eat sometimes. It's not like it's gonna kill it. It's just when given the choice, I don't know, makes things more complicated than they have to be. Anyway, all right, that's it. Cheers.